As a parent, you've probably been told that if your child is struggling, the answer is to do more. More therapy appointments, more specialists, more interventions, stacked on top of one another. So you do it. You run from speech therapy to occupational therapy, from feeding therapy to behavioral therapy. You try elimination diets and supplements and weighted blankets and sensory tools and everything in between. And you do it all out of a deep love and determination to help your child thrive. Now, every single week in our office, we meet parents who are running themselves into the ground. They're managing 4, 5, sometimes 6 different therapy appointments a week, holding it all together with calendars, snacks, and sheer willpower. And yet, despite all that effort, all that time, and all that investment, progress feels painfully slow. Sometimes it stalls altogether. And that's when the questions start creeping in. Well, what are we missing? Why isn't this working? Here's the part that no one prepares you for. When we ask these families a simple question, has anyone ever evaluated your child's nervous system? The answer is almost always no. And that matters more than most people realize. So research shows that nearly 1 in 6 kids today has a developmental disability. That's millions of families stuck in the same exhausting cycle, chasing symptoms, adding more interventions, and then hoping the next thing will finally be that breakthrough. But the foundation that controls everything else, the nervous system, is often never addressed. Now, this is the truth that most doctors won't say out loud. Your child doesn't need more therapies layered onto an already overwhelmed system. They need the right foundation first. So this video is for the exhausted parents who are doing everything they've been told to do, but yet they feel like they're pushing forward with the parking brake still on. If you're tired of adding more and more without seeing the breakthroughs you were promised, it may not be that your child needs more help. It may be that their system is caught in the perfect storm. So let's talk about why many families feel stuck even when they're doing everything right. Think about it this way. If you've tried to remodel a house while the foundation has cracks running through it, what would happen? You could put in the most beautiful floors, you could paint the walls perfectly, and buy the nicest furniture that money could buy. But over time, things would keep shifting. Doors wouldn't close right, walls would crack again, nothing would quite hold. Not because the work was bad, but because the foundation was never stable to begin with. And that's exactly what happens when we add therapy after therapy without first addressing the nervous system. Now, the nervous system is that foundation. It's the air traffic controller for your child's entire body. It coordinates speech, movement, digestion, sleep, immune function, emotional regulation, and behavior. Every other system depends on it communicating clearly and staying regulated. When that foundation is stressed or stuck or overwhelmed, every therapy layered on top is working against resistance. It's not that speech therapy, occupational therapy, or feeding therapy doesn't work. They do, but they can't fully work when the system underneath them isn't stable. And here's what makes this so frustrating for parents. Most families are just never told this. Instead, they're encouraged to add more, try harder, and keep stacking interventions without anyone stopping to ask whether the nervous system is even ready to support all of it. So, how does your child's nervous system become stressed in the first place? Now, this is what we call the perfect storm. And it usually starts earlier than most people realize, sometimes even before birth. Now, prenatal stress is often the first layer. When a mom experiences physical, emotional, or chemical stress during pregnancy, That stress doesn't stop with her. It travels directly to the baby through the umbilical cord, influencing how the nervous system develops and adapts. Then comes birth. Even smooth, natural deliveries place stress on the baby's spine and their nervous system. When birth includes interventions like inductions, epidurals, forceps, vacuum assistant, or C-section, that stress increases significantly. Research shows that a large majority of newborns enter the world with some level of spinal misalignment, even when everything looks fine on the outside. And then after birth, that storm continues to build. Early illnesses, repeated rounds of antibiotics, reflux, ear infections, and digestive struggles, environmental toxins, constant screen exposure, increasing developmental expectations at younger and younger ages. Each one adds another layer of stress to the system, another crack in the foundation. By the time parents start noticing delays, behavioral challenges, or regulation issues, the nervous system is often already completely overwhelmed and stuck in survival mode, doing its best just to keep up. This is where things can get really confusing for families, and this is where so much unnecessary guilt shows up. When a child's nervous system is already overloaded, adding more therapies can actually push the system further past capacity. It's like plugging too many devices into one power strip. Eventually the circuit trips, the system shuts down. Or think about a computer with too many tabs open. Everything slows down, nothing runs smoothly, things freeze. This is why some kids make initial progress and then they kind of hit a wall. This is why therapy sessions start to feel harder instead of feeling easier. This is why sleep gets worse, meltdowns increase, or behavior seems to regress. It's not because your child can't do it, and it's not because the therapy is wrong. It's because their nervous system doesn't have the capacity to process everything being asked of it. And then the hardest part is that parents almost always blame themselves. They think they need to add one more appointment, one more strategy, one more tool. But the problem was never that you're not doing enough. It's that you were trying to build on an unstable foundation. Now, here's the hopeful part. And this is the part that we see every single day. When the nervous system is stabilized first, everything changes. With neurologically focused chiropractic care, the goal isn't to replace therapies, it's to restore balance and regulation to the system that allows those therapies to actually work. So using advanced insight scans, we're able to measure where the nervous system stress is stuck, and then through gentle, precise adjustments, we help release that tension and restore the body's ability to regulate, adapt, and heal. And when that happens, that's when parents start noticing something remarkable. Speech therapy that once felt slow suddenly clicks. Occupational therapy becomes easier as sensory challenges calm and coordination improves. Feeding therapy works better because digestion regulates and the vagus nerve can finally do its job. Sleep improves, immune systems strengthen, emotions stabilize, meltdowns decrease. It's not magic, it's neurology. When the foundation is stable, everything built on top of it finally has the opportunity to work the way it was always meant to. Now, if this sounds like your life, if you're exhausted from running from therapy to therapy and adding more without seeing the change you are promised, it may be time to stop chasing symptoms and start addressing the foundation underneath it all. You're not behind. You're not failing your child. You've simply been working on a system that hasn't had the chance to regulate yet. So at E320 Chiropractic, we specialize in neurologically focused chiropractic care for kids and for families. We don't replace the therapies you're already doing. We help unlock them by supporting the nervous system that everything else depends on. When the foundation is supported, the body can finally adapt, organize, and respond the way it was designed to. If you're ready to get answers and to understand what your child's nervous system is doing beneath the surface, reach out to us. Click the link in our bio, or you can send us a message to schedule a neurological evaluation. Let's help your child shift out of that constant stress and into stability and strength, so all your efforts that you're already pouring in can finally start to pay off. Your family deserves clarity, hope, and a path forward.